So today we are going to learn about suicide prevention. It can be a difficult topic to think about, but it's important we learn how to help each other. If it gets too overwhelming, reach out to a trusted adult. Some of the scenes in this video may not match your life right now. The time you spend in school might look a little different, or you may be watching this from home. But the steps you take to help yourself or a friend are exactly the same. Just remember ACT. Acknowledge signs of suicide in a friend. Show a friend that you care. Tell a trusted adult. It just might save someone's life.
My name is Ellie Peltola. I am 20 years old and I was adopted in Brazil. I had a really good childhood. I've lived in a lot of different countries, a lot of different states. In the second grade, we moved across the country and I've been living here ever since.
The summer going into 5th grade, we met at a dance audition. We've been friends ever since. Ellie and I were kind of crazy children. We used to make these little music videos.
From the beginning, she was a joy.
I had a lot of friends, enjoyed connecting with other kids of her age.
I remember from a very young age always being very insecure and always not liking how I looked. Every little thing that people could pick apart about me is what they would do, and it really, really got to me. I was bullied really bad, and because of that, I felt so worthless. I felt like nobody loved me. I didn't care about my hygiene. I didn't care about what I was wearing. I literally just didn't care. When I'm depressed, I physically cannot get out of bed and I feel sick to my stomach. I started to hurt myself when I was around 12 years old and it became a really big struggle of mine. I felt like because I hated myself so much, I felt like I needed to punish myself because I didn't feel like I was worthy and I didn't feel like I was deserving of having a body with no scars on it. So I put myself in situations that I was not comfortable with, but I did it because I felt like I needed to feel wanted by at least one person. The substance abuse, I was using that to feel numb, and there have been times where it's put my life in danger.
Some warning signs that I saw early on was that she didn't really have a plan for the future.
She started becoming very angry. She would, every time we tried to talk to her, she would just close the door, bang the door.
And a little bit more withdrawn and into herself and hiding in her room.
You know, she would just tell me things like she didn't want to live or like she didn't want to be here.
It's really intimidating to go to get help. That's like an understatement. Like, it is so hard to admit that you have a problem and to be able to ask someone if they can help you.
It was late at night and Ellie called me talking about how she was about to kill herself. And I was really scared, I was really nervous. And I went to my mom crying and I asked her for help and my mom texted her parents.
So that's when we got into action to try to find ways to help her.
When she asked me not to tell anybody, I would either be like, oh yeah, sure, I'm not gonna tell anybody and tell somebody, or I would just tell her straight up and be like, hey, I have to tell somebody so you can get better and so you won't be in this position anymore.
To be honest, I was mad at her for about a week. It really didn't last that long. And in the end, I thanked her because she saved my life.
I think I was a friend. I think that's what I did.
It was so beneficial having that one person who, you know, she didn't understand what I was going through, but she never left my side. I really benefited from therapy. In movies, depression, they make it seem like, you know, your world is black and white all the time, and that's not true at all. Depression will always be something that I have, but it's definitely, the color has started to come back. And you know, I still live my life authentically having depression. I learned about coloring and painting and anything art-related, and that was actually one of the biggest coping skills that I used. My room has all these different posters that I've made, and I felt like working with my hands was really helpful for me.
She loves life now. She has come a long way, and yes, I am very proud of her. She's a joy in our lives.
I think she has already proven that she can live and others can live with mental health challenges.
Because without the help, my daughter wouldn't be here now. And I won't be here to tell you the story about how wonderful daughter she is.
I had a really hard time seeing that there were people out there who loved me. And I think that that is a really big thing to remember, is that you are loved.
A lot of people worry that if they go tell an adult on their friend, that their friend's going to be really mad at them. And the thing is, sometimes friends are a little upset at first, but usually in the long run, people feel super grateful that someone cared enough to get them help.
Some of the common myths that exist about suicide are that if you have a conversation with someone about suicide, that you might introduce the idea where it had not been on their mind. And we know that that is not true. Very often, talking about suicide is an indication that someone is seeking help.
So the majority of people who are thinking about suicide have something like depression, either depression or some other mental health condition going on. Depression is definitely something that is treatable, and people feel much better afterwards. So there are different ways that people can feel better. One of them is by taking medication. Sometimes it's also by going to counseling and talking to someone to talk through problems or to think about other ways to cope.
So some healthy coping strategies would be connecting with others. So making sure that you're not isolating yourself, but that you're spending time with your friends. Exercising as well. So if you're an athlete, just making sure that you're continuing to take part in those activities, as well as journaling. So if you're someone who likes to write, using that as a mode of self-expression.
When someone is feeling depressed, it can feel like a lot of different things. For some individuals, they describe depression as, a lack of motivation to do anything. For some people, it feels just like deep and profound sadness. But a common theme is really an emotional pain.
I've kind of faced depression like throughout my whole life. So there's like the grief, there's the guilt stage, there's the sleeping where you just sleep so much, but then you can't sleep at all. Sometimes you're really emotional on days and you can't stop crying, and other times you can't feel anything.
For me, when my depression hits, it often, when I'm around friends and stuff, on the outside, I look just fine. I'm lively and I'm outgoing, but it's when I get home and I'm alone with my thoughts and my feelings that I really just become a completely different person, that sort of the stuff on the inside starts coming out.
It's important to recognize that mental health is similar to physical health in that it's something that we've got to be proactive in taking care of. Someone had the flu, someone had pneumonia, someone broke a limb, they would go see the doctor, they'd be treated. When someone is struggling with mental health disorders, it's really important to seek treatment.
I had a couple friends who really loved and supported me. One of my closest friends, she went to my high school counselor and was like, hey, my friend Connor, he's feeling really down about this and his whole life, and he needs help. And that really helped me out of my sort of, I felt like I was stuck in a hole and I couldn't dig out. But he sort of helped me figure my way out.
I asked someone who I knew was in therapy. I was realizing that, things weren't getting better, with my depression and my self-harm, and I had to do something about it. And I went and I asked her, how did you get into therapy? Because at that point I was in college, and the college offered counseling. And she really pushed me because I wasn't sure. She told me to get an emergency evaluation. I didn't want to go, and she dialed the phone of the counseling center on my phone and hit dial and handed me that phone, and essentially kind of forced me to take that phone call, and I went in, and that little gesture was what started my treatment. I honestly think if that wasn't for her, I wouldn't have gone sooner, and I feel like I owe her almost everything.
It was years until I was able to finally reach out and get the help that I needed. And I found others like me, and I found great solace in seeing that I'm not the only one who goes through this. And that, if anything, the experiences I've gone through have made me stronger as a person today.
What it was me learning to just accept who I am and being okay with who that was. To get to a place where I could actually go to therapy and talk about the issues that were really deeply bothering me, and being with other people who understand what you're going through is so valuable, and it makes you feel really less alone.
I felt relieved. I felt like, wow, finally, I'm not carrying this burden on my own. Finally, someone's able to listen to me. Finally, someone who knows what this is. There's a name for it, that other people deal with it.
If I could go back and tell myself one thing, I would tell myself to be kinder to myself, be kinder to me, and to treat myself the way I treat my best friend, with all the love and care, and to remember that it's okay to take care of yourself.
I would tell myself that you should have got help earlier.
I would tell myself that it's okay to feel what I'm feeling, and that it's okay to tell someone else what I'm feeling, and it's okay to open up both to myself and to others.
I would tell myself that the bravest thing you could ever do is get help.
The Safe Utah app is a very useful tool that can help you report any concerns you may have. Once you downloaded the free app, there are several ways to use it. In the top left corner, you can start a chat to text a professional regarding concerns you have about yourself or about a friend. Someone will text you back personally right away through the app and offer help and support. In the top right corner, You can submit a tip to report a variety of issues, to share something that you are concerned about or feel should be checked out by school administrators or counselors. Tips are always anonymous and are personally followed up on as soon as possible. If you feel like you would like to talk to someone in person on the phone, you can click Start a Call in the bottom left corner. The number will come up automatically, and you can speak directly with a trained professional counselor from the University of Utah Hospital. They will give you the support you need and notify the emergency services in Wasatch County if necessary, or notify the family or school to follow up if other support is needed. You can also check on the status of a tip that you have reported in the bottom right corner. The best part is, Safe UT is always available, 24/7, on weekends, holidays, or in the middle of the night. This app has helped save lives. Please use it and take it seriously if and when you ever need to. It is there if you ever need help.